Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Ōkami walkthrough. We're here in Ponc'tan! And, this place is adorable. Now you may recognise this wonderful little theme as Issun's theme, basically. And that should probably give you a clue of the type of people we are going to be meeting here. And it may also give you a little clue as to why Issun is so hesitant, shall we say, to come in. But yes, here we are in Ponc'tan, the village of the Poncles. Loads of little fellas all around here, and I really do like Ponc'tan. It's really cool. And there's actually kind of some fun information to do with Ponc'tan and the Poncles. So Ponc'tan, the name itself, comes from the Ainu language, so Ponc'tan, which means small village. It's quite literally a small village. But the Poncles are based on the Koropokguru, or Koropokuru, which are a race of small people in the folklore of the Ainu people. Now, the name is traditionally analysed as a tripartite compound of koro, which is butterbur plant, pok, under, below, and kur or kuru, which means person. So, the literal translation of that would be people below the leaves of the butterbur plant. Now, the Ainu believed that the Koropokguru were the people who lived in the Ainu's land before the Ainu themselves lived there. They were short of stature, agile, skilled at fishing, and they lived in pits with roofs made from butterbur leaves. Apparently long ago they were on good terms with the Ainu and would send them deer, fish and other game and exchange goods with them. The little people hated to be seen, however, so they would stealthily make their deliveries under the cover of night. One day a young Ainu man decided he wanted to see a Koropokguru for himself, so he waited in ambush by the window where the gifts were usually left. When a Koropokguru came to place something there, the young one grabbed it by the hand and dragged it inside. It turned out to be a beautiful Koropokguru woman, who was so enraged at the young man's rudeness that her people have not been seen since. Their pits, pottery and stone implements, the Ainu believe, still remain scattered across the landscape. And these guys have actually turned up in numerous places in popular culture. The most famous that I can think of is Shaman King. Basically, the Koropokguru, Minutions in the English version, are depicted as a race of tiny spirits, which are influential to the background of the teenage Ainu shaman Horo. Get it all right. And his guardian spirit is Kororo, or Kori, apparently, in English. You also have the Picori in The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. They are based on these same kind of legendary figures. And then obviously you have Ōkami, which features them, which is also really awesome. Now, a few things that I've kind of ignored around here. So we went into the shop. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough yen to get the glaive, which is frustrating because I wanted that thing, and we can't have it. And I think my brain is going, I want the damn thing, but I can't have it, so oh well. Now, there's one thing that you need to do whilst you're in Ponc'tan, and that is visit the chief of the village. But that's kind of going to be one of the last things we do. We're basically covering almost everything possible in Ponc'tan right now, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now, the people of the Poncle village appear in the art book, as you would expect. So the people of Ponc'tan are all designed with insects and plant life in mind. The Pinecone Girl grows up to become Mrs. Seal, who we will see at some point soon. This is what she was like when she was young, so there's a picture in here of that. Had a lot of freedom with these designs, or I guess you could say that I was just drawing them however I wanted to. With childlike proportions, they have very small bodies, so I thought I could make a top-heavy silhouette their trademark. I guess you could say that they use insects and plants to make themselves look bigger, in hopes of fending off predators, like real insects do. Although making themselves look bigger just makes it look like there is more for the predators to eat. And then, for the guards here, these were drawn after Ishaku's design. Ishaku is this fella here. These guys wear stag beetles to go with the beetle motif. They are like, well, we'll leave that bit for the time being. But it seems Ishaku knows who we are. How very odd. Probably not Ishaku, but, oh well. So yes, this is the legendary swordsman, self-proclaimed, Ishaku. So he was originally designed as a retired old man, but as a former comrade of a certain wolf. I thought he needed to seem stronger, so gave him full armour and a stubborn attitude. The scrolls on his back are the image scrolls of Providence. But yeah, he just keeps talking on and on and on about all this stuff that we don't actually know about. We didn't exactly come alone, but our partner didn't want to enter the village, so take that as you will. And now we're getting a rather important bit of information. So, the gods need celestial envoys to survive, basically, because they need the will of the people to give them strength. And apparently it's up to us to decide who the 7th celestial envoy will be. And basically, this entire thing sums up why we have been collecting praise throughout the game. Because praise is the way in which you power up, because it's the people giving you strength. It's quite a cool little touch. But it does have a very good reason behind it. And Ishaku won't really give us any more information, unfortunately. Now, what I'm attempting to do here is something that you don't need to do in this particular room. You need to do it upstairs, which we will be doing. I just got slightly confused, because there is a scroll that you can power slash and reveal something behind it. Which you will be seeing, don't worry. But yes, it seems Ishaku is related to a certain Poncle who's run away. I wonder if there's anybody like that we know. Now, obviously, Ponc'tan appears in the art book. You'd hope so anyway. With centipede stairs, jars full of honey, and snail shell decorations, this is one of the most fun places to design. These little guys have some serious jumping power. I mean, they do indeed to be able to get around this place. Good grief. But yeah, now that that's all done, we're just going to run around and do the rest of the stuff we can in Ponc'tan. Get a few stray beads, etc, etc. Now, if you power slash these scrolls, then you get a wonderful picture of kind of the art of drawing a naked lady. And making the bum look like a peach and so on and so forth, because Hideki Kamiya couldn't not be a little bit of a pervert every now and again, could he? But I suppose, seeing as we've not got a whole lot else to explain in Ponc'tan, bar Mrs. Seal, who we will visit soon enough. should go into more stuff about Ishaku. Just until we see Mrs. Seal anyway. So, Ishaku's name means one shaku, which is a traditional Japanese unit equal to about 30 centimeters or 1 foot. It's a play on Issun's name, which means one son, which is a unit equal to 1/10 of a shaku, apparently. But this is Mrs. Seal. Now, interesting fact, in the Wii version of the game, Mrs. Seal is utterly pointless. Because you're able to create your own seal, and this seal, you have no idea what it's meant to do, but it's meant to turn up in the credits, but Ōkami Wii has no credits. Now, if you say yes to her offer of 9,000, however, 9999999 yen, then you can actually do this for free. And that's wonderful. Now, if you're playing the PS2 version or the PS3 version of the game, then yes, definitely do this, because it's adorable. Because it's going to kind of do a wonderful stamp at the end of your run, basically. It's going to mark it out as your own. And I'm attempting to create my own stamp for the purposes of being a bit of an oddball and trying to bring some magic back to Ōkami Wii. So I'm trying to come up with my own stamp. I tried, let's go with a nice curly Richie, and I just thought, no, I'm not a fan. And then I thought, well, let's go with the heaven mark, because I was so proud of that, and I was looking at that and thinking, nope, that looks like a stick figure. Need something that says me. And while the final result is not necessarily something that I would say is me, it served its purpose in the end, I think. So we're going with XGR, not like this because that is a terrible G. But we're going to go with XGR for X Gamer Richie, because I want to prove that this is my run. And I believe that this might actually be the one that we are going to go with. And yes, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. That is my stamp. As I said, it's not perfect, but I will go for it. Now, once you've done it, don't ever go back into Mrs. Seal's place, otherwise I think it will cancel out the stamp at the end. But it's a fun little thing that you can do. It's frustrating that it serves no purpose. Well, you can't actually get back in. Wow. But it's frustrating that it is so useless in the Wii version, because it's such a nice little touch. But I am so grateful that they did reintroduce it to the PS3 version, because it's cool, and I like it. And I believe that, bar talking to a few people, running around a few locations, we're pretty much done in Ponc'tan. The only real purpose for this place is it's a stop off for a bit more plot before we shift up a gear, really. Because I mean, I really do mean that the game is going to shift up a gear, because pretty much we are heading into the... well, we are heading into the end game. We've got the events which are going to happen immediately after Ponc'tan, which are exciting. We have a final dungeon for the game, and then it's just a last kind of sweep up of side quests, and then it's the end of the game. It's kind of once we do the final bit. So we are so close now. And yeah, there's a lot of goodies hidden about Ponc'tan. There's only a few that you really are going to want to get, because like the stray beads and stuff. But on the whole, it's just here to be pretty, if anything. And now I should probably pop back to Ishaku, seeing as I have absolutely nothing else to say about Ponc'tan. Ah! So, for starters, it's heavily implied that the travel guides were written by Ishaku, through the text contained in said guides and his signature on some of the images. I can't reveal the next bit of information because it's a spoiler for what's going to happen, but yeah, Ishaku's cool. Now, the thing that he's got in his head is actually seemingly made of the shell of a Kabuto Mushi beetle. And that should sound familiar to some people anyway. Specifically, it's a Japanese rhinoceros beetle, but I mean, the reason that I say that the Kabuto should sound familiar is because obviously you have got Kabuterimon in Digimon. Like that is the main thing that I think of. I mean, there's also Kabuto, the Pokemon, and Kabutops, which is its evolved form. They're based on the same creature, obviously, but the main thing that I think of is Kabuterimon and that line of Digivolutions with Tentamon and all of that. And then obviously I think his his ultimate form is Mega Kabuterimon, so it's running with the Kabuto thing. And that is basically it. Now, I was at this point thinking, please, for the love of God, let that be enough to get the glaive. And it was most oh no, it is enough. Yay! Only just, mind. But the thing is that I don't think I'm really going to use it at all. Specifically because we're going to be going into something that the glaive isn't really useful for. And after that we're going to get a more powerful glaive. So this is easily the most pointless weapon in the game, because they give it to you at a point where there's very little reason for you to use it. It's disappointing, but these things happen. But oh well, we have done all that we can in Ponc'tan for now, so it's time to head out and try and head towards the Spirit Gate, because that might be where Lika is, and obviously we need to save her, whatever the cost.